Shashin. Shashin, also known as assassins, are a secret network of assassins that emerged from the Ismailiya Nizari sect in 11th century Persia. They were founded by Hassan-i Saba, a scholar and spiritual leader who utilized religious ideology to garner a loyal following. Their main base was at Alamut Fortress, a strategic location that allowed them to control the surrounding area while organizing covert operations. The group is known for its highly organized political assassination tactics. Their methods involve infiltrating the target's circle to learn their habits, ensuring attacks are carried out at highly visible times and places. Usually, assassinations are carried out in public places with weapons such as short knives to have a great psychological impact on their enemies. Shashin not only targeted Seljuk, Abbasid, and Crusader rulers, but also internal rivals within the Muslim community. Myths about them, including the use of hashish to motivate the killers, emerged from their enemies' propaganda. However, modern historians judge that the name Shashin more likely refers to a derogatory term given by their political opponents. In addition to murder, they also used propaganda and espionage to paralyze the enemy. In 1256, Mongol forces led by Hulagu Khan destroyed the Alamut fortress, marking the end of their rule. Although the Shashin were destroyed, their legacy lives on, especially in modern languages, where the word assassin is derived from their name. They are often regarded as pioneers in organized political assassinations that combine tactical intelligence and psychological effects. Thuggy. Thuggy was a secretive group that operated in India from the 13th century to the 19th century. They were devotees of goddess Kali, the Hindu goddess of death and destruction. Thuggy believed that killing is a form of offering to Kali to maintain cosmic balance. They not only act as a group of killers, but also as a religious community with strict rituals and rules passed down from generation to generation. Thuggy usually operate in large groups, posing as travelers or merchants to approach their victims. Their tactics involve building trust with the victim before committing murder. The most common method is to use a cloth or rope, garrote, to secretly strangle the victim. After the murder, they would rob the victim and bury the body neatly to eliminate traces. British colonial records suggest that Thuggy were responsible for thousands of murders each year, although modern historians believe that these figures may have been exaggerated to legitimize the British campaign against them. A massive Thuggy suppression operation began in the early 19th century under the leadership of William Sleeman, a British colonial official. Using informants and systematic investigations, the government managed to destroy the Thuggy network. Although the group largely disappeared by the mid-19th century, their legend lives on in popular culture, often depicted as ruthless killers lurking in the dark streets of India. Thuggy represents a blend of religious belief and organized violence, making it one of the unique examples of a murderous group in history. Sakari. Sakari were Jewish extremists in the 1st century AD during the Roman occupation of Judea. They are considered one of the first secret assassination groups in history, with the primary mission of expelling the Roman government from Jewish lands. The name Sakari comes from the Latin word sica, meaning short dagger, a weapon they used to launch surprise attacks on enemies. The group not only fought Roman officials, but also targeted Jews they considered collaborators or traitors. Their strategy was highly organized, often attacking in crowded places such as markets or places of worship to ensure that their killings were visible to many. This not only instilled fear among the enemy, but also sent a message to the Jewish community about the importance of resistance. Sakari were instrumental in starting the Great Jewish Revolt against the Romans in 66 AD. They also took over several fortresses in the Judean region, including Masada, where they held out until 73 AD. After a long siege by Roman forces, the Sakari at Masada chose mass suicide rather than be captured or enslaved, an act considered heroic by some and tragic by others. Records of Sakari mostly come from the writings of the Jewish Roman historian Flavius Josephus. He described them as a group of fanatics who were not averse to using violence to achieve their goals. Although the group disintegrated after the Jewish revolt, their tactics became a model for other resistance groups in the future. Sakari are a symbol of uncompromising resistance to oppression, but their methods have also drawn criticism for causing chaos within their own community. Ninja. Ninja or shinobi are Japanese secret agents who played an important role during the Sengoku period, 15th to 17th centuries, a time of civil war intrigue and conflict in feudal Japan. Unlike the samurai who followed the Bushido code of ethics, ninjas focused more on effectiveness, using stealth tactics, sabotage, espionage, and assassination to achieve their goals. Ninja hail from certain clans in the Iga and Koga regions, renowned for their expertise in the arts of combat and reconnaissance. Ninja are intensively trained in the art of ninjutsu, which includes the ability to infiltrate undetected, utilizing shuriken, throwing stars, kusarigama, chain scythes, and tanto, short knives. They are also experts at using the environment to camouflage themselves, making them extremely difficult to track. One of their main strengths is their flexibility in action, which allows them to carry out a variety of missions, from sabotage to information gathering. While many myths portray ninjas as supernatural beings with mystical powers, the reality is that they are fighters who are highly trained in warfare tactics and strategy. This propaganda was often created by their opponents to create fear or by popular culture in Japan. In the early Edo period, after Tokugawa Ieyasu unified Japan, the need for ninja began to decline. Political stability reduced their role as secret agents, although they remained revered as part of Japanese history. Their legacy survives in modern martial arts and popular culture, where ninja are often depicted as invisible assassins and symbols of ingenuity. Venetian Council of Ten. Council of Ten, or Concilio dei Dieci, was a secret body in the Republic of Venice, established in the early 14th century to maintain the political stability and security of the country. Although they were officially part of the government, the Council of Ten had extraordinary powers, often operating outside of public scrutiny. They played a crucial role in keeping tabs on internal and external threats to the Republic, using tactics of espionage, sabotage, and even assassination. The Council is known to have a highly organized network of spies spread across the Venetian and European regions. Their secret agents were tasked with keeping tabs on government officials, citizens, and foreign enemies. If a serious threat is found, Council of Ten does not hesitate to use extreme methods, including political assassination, to get rid of their enemies. Poison and surprise attacks are often their choice, due to the efficiency and secretive nature of these methods. One unique aspect of the Council of Ten was the anonymous complaint system, where citizens could report suspicious activities through a secret mailbox. This strengthened the Council's control over the people of Venice, but also created a culture of paranoia, where anyone could be targeted if perceived as a threat. Council of Ten played an important role in maintaining Venice's stability as a major maritime power. However, their great power also led to controversy, including accusations of abuse of authority and repressive measures against citizens. The Council eventually lost influence as the Republic of Venice declined in power in the 18th century. Nonetheless, they remain a symbol of secret politics and power control in the Renaissance era. Byzantine Order of Assassins. The Byzantine Empire, which lasted more than 1,000 years, was known for its sophistication in diplomacy and war, including the use of secret agents. The Byzantine Order of Assassins was not a formal organization like the Shashin, but was a network of secret agents serving the empire. They operate under the direction of the imperial court and are responsible for protecting the emperor and eliminating internal and external threats. Their methods often involved poison, one of the most effective weapons of the era. Poison allowed them to kill opponents without having to have a direct confrontation, often leaving little to no evidence that could link them to the empire. In addition to poison, these agents used methods of sabotage and political manipulation to ensure Byzantine power was maintained. One of the most famous missions involved the elimination of high-ranking officials deemed to be treasonous towards the emperor. These agents were trained to infiltrate enemy circles, act as informants, or even provocateurs to weaken the enemy from within. In some cases, they managed to stop internal coups before they happened, keeping the emperor's power stable. The ingenuity of Byzantine secret agents allowed the empire to maintain its position amid constant threats from the Western Roman Empire, Arabs, and barbarians. However, their methods also created an atmosphere of fear within the court, where betrayal and political intrigue became commonplace. Their legacy reflects Byzantine expertise in shadow warfare, showing how covert tactics and organized assassinations played an important role in maintaining one of the longest-lasting empires in history. Pecheneg mercenaries. The Pecheneg were a nomadic tribe from the Eurasian steppes, who often acted as mercenaries and strategic allies to major empires, especially the Byzantine Empire. Operating in the 9th to 12th centuries, the Pecheneg were known as formidable warriors with highly effective combat abilities, especially in guerrilla warfare and surprise attacks. They had a reputation as loyal assassins for hire, with no particular political or ideological allegiance. As mercenaries, Pechenegs not only fought on the battlefield, but also often carried out assassination missions assigned by their employers. The Byzantine Empire, for example, used Pechenegs to attack their enemies in the border regions. With their ability to move quickly and disappear after an attack, they posed a great threat to less flexible enemies. One of the Pecheneg's signature tactics was surprise attacks on important officials or military figures of the enemy. This action not only weakened the enemy's morale, but also created chaos within the ranks. By taking advantage of the vast and inaccessible steppe terrain, they were able to evade pursuit after the attack. However, the relationship between the Pechenegs and the Byzantine Empire was not always peaceful. When they felt threatened or betrayed, the Pechenegs did not hesitate to turn against their masters, leading to attacks on Byzantine territory. After a major defeat at the Battle of Livonian in 1091, the Pechenegs' military power began to crumble, and they were eventually absorbed by other nations such as the Cuman and Rus. Their legacy, as formidable assassins, shows how nomadic groups could play an important role in political and military conflicts in medieval times. The Brethren of the Free Spirit. The Brethren of the Free Spirit was a radical religious movement that emerged in Western Europe in the 13th to 15th centuries. While not technically a murderers' guild, the group is often associated with subversive actions against the Catholic Church and secular authorities. Members of this movement believe that every individual has a direct relationship with God without the need for an intermediary such as the Church. Their ideology challenges traditional hierarchies and raises concerns among ecclesiastical elites. The movement attracts attention mainly because its members are often associated with active resistance, including assassinations of church officials and political authorities. They regard corrupt authorities as an obstacle to spiritual freedom. In some cases, brethren engage in physical resistance to defend their beliefs or free their followers from oppression. The Brethren's influence extended through informal networks in the German, French, and Dutch regions. They used propaganda and secret meetings to spread their teachings. Their actions provoked a strong reaction from the Church, which regarded them as a major threat to social stability. The Inquisition launched an intensive campaign to eradicate them, accusing them of heresy and sentencing many members to death. Although the group was largely destroyed in the 15th century, their teachings survived in the form of later religious reform movements, including in the Renaissance. The Brethren of the Free Spirit remain a symbol of resistance to oppressive authority, although their tactics are often controversial. They reflect the role of religion as a tool of resistance and social change in medieval Europe. The Assassins of the Almohads. The Assassins of the Almohads was a secret network of assassins that operated under the Almohad dynasty in the 12th and 13th centuries. The Almohads were a major power that ruled North Africa and much of Muslim Spain, replacing the previous Almoravid dynasty. In an effort to maintain their power, the Almohads used political assassination tactics to eliminate internal and external enemies, including opposition from within the Islamic world, and external threats such as European Christian forces. This network worked under the direct direction of the Almohad Caliph, often involving the assassination of figures who could potentially destabilize the dynasty's power. Their methods involved the use of poison and surprise attacks on political leaders, military commanders, and clerics who opposed Almohad ideology. These killings are not only to paralyze the enemy, but also to create fear and strengthen their authority. One notorious incident was the assassination of a tribal leader in the border region of North Africa who attempted to rebel against Almohad. The assassins infiltrated the leader's close circle and launched an attack while he was at a meeting. Attacks like this helped Almohad maintain control over a culturally and religiously diverse region. However, the network also became a tool of internal repression, used to silence critics and ensure absolute loyalty to the caliph. As Almohad power weakened in the late 13th century, the use of these political assassinations diminished. Their legacy reflects how organized assassination became an integral part of a great dynasty's political strategy in the face of a conflicted world. Order of Draconus. The Order of Draconus, or Order of the Dragon, was a semi-secret military order founded in 1408 by King Sigismund of Hungary and his wife, Queen Barbara von Cilli. It was created to protect the Holy Roman Empire, counter external threats such as the Ottoman invasion, and prevent internal treason in Eastern Europe. The order was inspired by previously existing chivalric organizations, but had a more covert mission and more extreme tactics. Members of the order included nobles and prominent military leaders, including Vlad Dracul, the father of Vlad the Impaler, who became the inspiration for the legend of Dracula. One of the order's symbols is a coiled dragon with a tail around its neck, symbolizing absolute devotion and loyalty to the leader and the empire. However, behind its public mission, the Draconus Order often uses covert assassination and sabotage tactics to get rid of political enemies. Their main methods include poison, surprise attacks, and political manipulation to weaken opponents. They targeted internal enemies such as disloyal nobles, as well as external enemies, especially Ottoman agents who tried to infiltrate their territory. These assassinations were designed to maintain political and military stability in the often turbulent region. The order began to lose relevance after Sigismund's death in 1437, but its influence is still felt through famous members such as Vlad the Impaler. The Order of Draconus became a symbol of resistance to the Ottoman threat and internal intrigue in Eastern Europe, reflecting how semi-secret societies played an important role in maintaining political stability and retaining power in medieval times.